Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, and welcome today to a product review, something a little bit different. Yes, hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. We're looking at a product today. It's fairly new on the market and it's from one of the leading brands of model tool manufacturers, Dspiae. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm never really sure. It's not really an English word, but yeah. And it says on the front of this box, Dspiae always live up to your love. Well, we'll have a look at that in a minute. This is a sprue rack with a bit of a difference. So most sprue racks you come across look a bit like this. And it's basically a rack that you put your sprues in. And actually, I have two of these. And I don't really use either. One of them, in fact, is in permanent use, holding sprues for a shelf queen that I intended to go back to, and as yet haven't. Predates the channel, so we're going back 3.5 years since I looked at that build. And the basic premise of any sprue rack is it holds your sprues upright, so you've got easy access to them. There's a bit of a limit because it depends on the shape of the sprue. So I find a lot of trumpeter ship kits have bits sticking out of the end, and actually the sprues won't go in a rack like this at all. And I also find that sometimes you've got big chunky parts and you're having to leave a space, so then you can't get them all in. So you end up actually finding that they're not as useful as you thought they might be. Plus, it's flapping around all the time. The number of times I've had them drop out and get caught on other parts, there are more sort of pitfalls to a sprue rack than any effort it saves you. And generally, I keep my sprues in an individual bag with a bit of tape on it that has the letter of the sprue on it. And I keep them in a build tray and they lie flat, and that's how I do my sprues. They're in a tray. So I don't tend to use this type of sprue rack. However, this might change that. Now, I've not looked at this properly. I looked at it online, and when I bought it, the only information I had was this picture and a sprue rack. But I can already see there might be some innovation in here, and generally the products this company makes, Dspiae, are quite innovative. So it comes in this little box, and on the back we have some precautions. Keep out of the reach of children under the age of 8. Keep away from solvents to prevent surface corrosion, so don't get glue on them. Keep inflammable, store and use in places away from open flame. Package contains small parts. Features eye-catching markings, always important. Contains 28 letter plates and 20 digit plates that can be combined to identify sprues with ease. Steady support, scientific design to provide steady support that holds most hobby kit sprues on the market. Interesting. Free combination, interlocking tenon system that allows free combination of racks to suit your demands. Simple and convenient compact modules for easy storage. Well, that is certainly a lot more compact than that, even if you were to flat pack that, which you can't really. It's all glued together. So let's have a look what we get in the box. So, as I say, I have not set this up yet, so I haven't looked at it. We're doing this together. So what have we got? We've got some rubber. We've got some plastic squares. We've got 5 of those, and then we've got some sprue with letters and numbers on. So there is no instructions in the box. So I think we've just got these things here. So, right. So, step 1, put the rubber feet on. So let's get one out and put the rubber feet on and have a look at that. So they're in these sort of, well, they're not really resealable. So I think we're getting rid of that. So what we've got a plastic thing. So I can see how they're going to interlock together, but they're only going to interlock in a chain. So they're not, what was the word, what they said? Scientific design to provide steady support that holds most hobby kit sprues on the market. Free combination. Well, if they mean free combination, means you can have them on their own, or you could put 2 together, or you can put, well, up to 5 together. So that's my first observation. I'm limited to 5 sprues. When was the last time you bought a modern kit that had 5 sprues or less? I mean, even a 172 Spitfire would challenge that these days. So we've got to put some rubber feet on this, so let's do that. We've got a rubber end here, which goes on, there we go, on this end. So do my best to line it up. There we go, that's sort of okay, I think. And then these thinner strips, you have one on each side. So the rubber feet's going to give it a little bit of grip and stop it sliding around. There you go. It's not dead straight. Have I got a second go at this? Yeah. The main thing is to make sure it's not fouling that, I guess. Let's get the last one on. There we go. So that's that made up. I'm pushing really quite hard on that and it's not going anywhere. So that bit works, certainly. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the others out and put the rubber feet on, and then we can talk a bit more about it. Right, so the rubber feet are on these now, and that's all done. And you get quite a bit of rubber left over. So if you've got other things that you might need a bit of a rubber foot underneath, you know, it's worth keeping that because you never know when it might be handy. I can think of a few uses straight away that I have. So yeah, all good. Right, let's open this bag. And in here we've got a white sprue with letters and numbers on. I'll be honest, I thought there was 2 in there, but there's only 1. And okay, so I can see how this works. Interesting that they've decided to do P and C together as one. Why would they do that? Is it common that you get a PC sprue? Don't know. Unless it's for parts that are clear. I am randomly stabbing in the dark there, but yeah, no idea why they've done that. But the basic idea, let me get my old cutters. Basic idea is you can cut out your letter like so, and plop it onto here so you know what the sprue is that's in your sprue rack. So let's just see how the sprue rack actually works. Well, guess what? It doesn't, because I've got ejector pin lumps on my corners. it works with that one. So almost any kit, unless of course it's Airfix. I suppose what I could do is take them off. There you go, and then that works fine. So yeah, interesting. What they've done, when you look at this, you can see it's straight, but it's got an angle. So if you've got a thicker sprue, it will probably wedge in before it hits the bottom, but it should still hold. So there's a little bit of movement in it. Yeah. And then, of course, you can put a number on. So if you've got 4 sprue Gs, you can do G1, G2, G3, G4. And in some cases, you get double letters on sprues, so AZ or what have you. Quite common in like trumpeter do it a lot. But if you've got 4 AZ sprues, you're going to come unstuck. In fact, you haven't got enough letters. When I think about it, you can't do G1, G2, G3, G4 because you've only got 1 G. So now I'm questioning why you'd even put the numbers on there. Unless some companies number their sprues, do they? I'm not sure I've ever seen that. Right, you need more of these than the one that's provided, is my initial conclusion. So that's a good idea, but it's been a bit under-delivered. You've just not got enough of them. Okay, but just for fullness, let's put a number on there. And I think what I will do is I will take all of these off and put them in a little Ziploc bag so that I can use them whenever I want, and keep some of this white plastic for stretch sprue. I think that will be quite handy for some jobs, that snow scenes and things like that. You never know. Right, so that's that bit. Okay, so we can see how it basically works. Now let's have a look at how they connect. So we have a little retaining clip on the inside and a little cutout there. So I guess they just snap in. No, push in then maybe. No. Oh, yeah. Phew. A bit stiff though. Right, okay, so you get quite a space between your sprue, which is handy because when you've got a lump like that, or a lump in the sprue where you've got some slide moulding, it's giving you plenty of space. I mean, that gap is wider than the gap there. So what you do on more usually, I mean, it's the width of two of those, and what you'd normally do is space them out, leave 2 or 3 so that you've got space. Now this is already doing that for you because of how it's designed. So that's interesting. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay, so there you have it. That's how that works together. And I guess you could do them in little clumps. So you could do a 2, do another 2. Then they're not very easy at putting together. We'll have a look at how you take them apart in a minute. There we go. I'm not sure how robust that's going to be over time, taking it apart and putting it back together repeatedly. But yeah, I mean, you could do that. You could probably use it individually. It holds up okay. So you can see I've got the whole sprue in there. And even if I knock that, it's not going over. So if I cut it with my arm or something, that little leg there is acting as a stabilizer. If I've got it in a 2, It's not even rocking. So as a larger chain of 5, oh, they come apart fairly easily. I am struggling though to get them to go together. See, that one's not in properly. There we go. Maybe I just need to be a bit more there. Yeah, so they clip in. That's better. Give them a good, you have to be a bit rough with them. There we go. Okay, so that's my row of 5, and actually they're arching, so the 2 points there are lower, so when I put it flat on the mat, you can see it's raised in the middle. Not that that's going to prevent me from using it for putting my sprues in. They're not really held in place tightly, but they are clearly accessible, and you don't have to use your expensive masking tape to put your letters on. I mean, most of the time you're just putting a single letter on, and this sprue does cover that off. So yeah, I think it's okay. The most obvious shortfall is that you've only got 5, and this is going to cost you what I've shown you today. This 5 sprue holders is going to cost you 10 quid. Now, how many kits, if you build one kit at a time, how many times do you have a kit that has 5 or less sprues? So I think you need at least 2 packs. You need at least 10, and for most kits these days that wouldn't be enough. So if you wanted to have a run of 20, you know, that's going to cost you a lot of money. So it's not a cheap solution at all, and you're probably better than with that and spacing it out, because you know that does a lot more. It does 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. So that does 15, and that would cater for most 172 kits and some 35s. Now, if like me, you tend to have multiple things on the go, you don't want all your sprues on display all the time, and you're taking a kit out and working on it and then putting it away and working on something else, then you probably don't need as many, because you can just put in here the sprues you're working on at the time. So for example, I'm working on my Airfix B17 right now, and the sprues that I'm using are D and G, so I could just put this out, put my D in, put my G in, and just have the sprues that I'm using at that time in which case 5 is probably enough. So it depends on how you use it. I think it's an interesting idea. I like the feature of being able to mark up your sprues. I think that's a good idea. I think it would be handy to have 2 of these so you can double up the letters, and it would be handy if you could buy these separately and add a number on that you want, rather than having to buy another set of 5, because you might say, well, you know what, another 2 would typically do me. But yeah, there you have it. £9.99 in the UK. They're on sale now on your online stores that stock Dspiae tools. I'm going to be using these and seeing how they go on my next couple of builds. But so far, I think it's a relatively good idea. I don't think it's quite as flexible as they've said. But yeah, there you have it. That's your understanding of the Dspiae sprue rack, which, yeah, does what it says it's going to do. And it's a nice, neat way of holding your sprue out of the way. I can take out of my build tray the sprues that I'm working on over the next few steps, and I'm not having to rummage through sprues. So at the start of each build session, I can put my sprues in there and I've got them to hand. So yeah, I quite like that. Right, I'm going to start cutting these out and find somewhere to keep them, a little zipper bag or something. I hope that was useful and interesting. So if you've seen it, you now know what it is, how it works, and that it might need to modify some of your sprues to make it work. But there you have it, the Dspiae sprue rack. An interesting idea. Clearly not for everyone. You can make a sprue rack out of cardboard if you really want to. So yeah, there you have it. Until next time, you enjoy your modelling and I will see you very soon. Bye for now. Hi, and thanks for watching. You can support the channel by hitting the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you don't miss any content that I put out. Model Kit Stuff is a self-funded channel, and I don't do membership or Patreon or buy me a coffee. So if you'd like to further donate to the channel and ensure the cameras keep rolling and the content keeps coming, then you can consider making a donation through my PayPal. You'll find a link to that in the text below. You enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you soon.